Alright guys, so really couldn't call it quits for a day. So marked the outlines of the frame rails, then pretty much made some dots for where I wanted to drill the holes. So a lot of checking your work, because you have to what I did was I began to drill some holes on the lower part, and then I drilled one on top, laid the frame rail again on it to make sure that we were still in the same spot, and then the same thing with the transition pan. So I got those pretty much all done. Actually, all the holes are done. I just need the ones that are gonna eventually lead into your wheel housing. So I'm gonna finish those up. A little bit of a smaller hole than what I was using on top, but that's pretty much it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean off all the burrs that are left from the drill, and then we will prime it for the most part. And what I want to do is then grind off where the metal is going to meet the other metal, so that way we get a nice weld. And then I will do the same thing with the frame rails, prime them up, grind where the welding is going to meet, and then go from there. So I want to make sure that these rails end up with a solid primer on the inside, and maybe more than likely use Rust-Oleum, because already you could see some surface rust growing in the welding. That I didn't do. That's the way they can. And you could also see on this end over here, and maybe right there too. So alright guys, so that's what I'm up to. Alright guys, so pretty much finished cleaning up the bottoms of the holes that were drilled, taking off any extra metal that was left on the bottom or on the top. So right now I'm getting ready, or checking to make sure that the holes are where we need them, and there are, we're looking good to be in good shape. But I am going to take a couple more last measurements before I actually start tacking it. Pretty much everything's looking good. I mean, the frame rails are in the pockets where they technically should be going, but when we're talking about frames, we got to make sure that we measure and measure and measure, because obviously we don't want to be having the car sit crooked or anything to that effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the rails one more time, from the back and from the front as well. And then we will make sure that these holes where the seat belts mount to are in the right spot. So that's what I am going to be doing, and then we will flip this all over once it is tacked, and start putting on the transition pan. Alright guys, so got some more work done on the trunk and the frame rails. So I got a little anxious and I forgot to prime the parts like I wanted to, but shouldn't be a big deal. Pretty easy to spray them off of the car. So tacked it in place, and threw some solid welds, or maybe about 1-inch beads on the transition bar to the frame rail, just to make it a little bit stiffer. But the rails are tacked in for the most part. I do gotta finish some welding on the other side to attach the floor to them. But here you go. So turn your heads upside down, guys. The floor is upside down, so it should be something like that. Alright guys, so that's a wrap for today. I knew I had told you guys earlier that I was not going to do any more work, but I just couldn't resist making some progress on it. So that's what we got so far.